Seeing colors most people can't. For most people, the world runs on three base colors: red, green, and blue. That's all the human eye usually has. These three types of cone cells that mix light into every shade we know. But in rare cases, some people are born with a fourth cone. That's called tetrachromacy, and it changes everything. A woman in the UK named Concetta Antico became famous for this. She's an artist, and while her students looked at a simple lavender flower, she saw bursts of pinks, greens, blues, and yellows hidden in the petals. To her, even gray pavement looks alive with subtle shades most people don't even realize exist. Scientists estimate tetrachromats can tell apart up to 100 million colors, and that's about 100 times more than the rest of us. It sounds magical, but it's not always easy. Imagine walking into a paint store where you just see blue, they see hundreds of clashing tones fighting for attention. This mutation comes from a variation in the OPN1MW gene, which affects the sensitivity of cone cells in the eye. Researchers think some women carry it more often because it's linked to the X chromosome. The unbreakable bones mutation. Some kids break an arm falling off a bike. Some adults crack a rib from coughing too hard. But then there are people who seem like their bones were built in a different factory altogether. Scientists first noticed this in a man who had been in 2 serious car accidents. Both times, doctors expected broken bones. X-rays showed nothing. In fact, his bones were so dense that the scans struggled to read them properly. That's when they traced it back to his LRP5 gene, a mutation that makes bones grow thicker and harder than normal. People with this mutation just have stronger skeletons, and their bones are up to 8 times denser than average. That means less chance of fractures, but it also comes with side effects. Dental surgery becomes nearly impossible because drills can't get through. And ironically, if bones ever do break, they take longer to heal because the structure is so tough. For now, though, the handful of people with this mutation live with skeletons so strong that doctors half-jokingly call them real-life Wolverines. Hyperthymesia. Hyperthymesia is one of the most rare documented memory conditions in humans. People with it can recall nearly every day of their lives in vivid, movie-like detail. It isn't just remembering birthdays or milestones. They can tell you what the weather was on a random Tuesday in 1999, what they ate for lunch, or what song was playing on the radio during a car ride 20 years ago. Even the way a room smelled or the clothes they wore gets locked in. Scientists have studied fewer than 100 confirmed cases worldwide. MRI scans show that certain brain areas, like the temporal lobe, which handles long-term memory, and the caudate nucleus, which processes habits and emotions, are more active or even larger in people with this condition. This unusual wiring may be what makes memories stick instead of fading away like they do for the rest of us. It sounds like a dream ability, but it's not all positive. For someone with hyperthymesia, forgetting doesn't come easily. Every heartbreak, every awkward slip-up in school, every painful loss stays sharp, almost as if it happened yesterday. Where most brains blur the past to help us move on, theirs replays it on a loop. The short sleeper gene. Most people drag themselves out of bed after 7 or 8 hours of sleep and still feel tired. But there's a rare group of people who can sleep just 4 to 6 hours a night and wake up completely refreshed. They aren't running on caffeine, and they're not insomniacs. They carry a mutation in a gene called DEC2. This mutation changes the way the body regulates sleep cycles. Instead of needing long stretches of rest, their brain enters deeper, more efficient sleep phases in less time. That's why they can function like they got a full night, even if they only close their eyes for half of it. One of the most famous cases is Ying-Hui Fu's research at the University of California. She studied families who all shared this mutation, and they consistently reported high energy, strong focus, and less risk of grogginess. In some cases, parents with DEC2 passed it directly to their children. While short sleepers often use those extra hours to get ahead working, exercising, or studying, some researchers are still studying whether the mutation affects long-term health, since the body regenerates and fixes itself during sleep. Super tasters. Imagine biting into broccoli and feeling like you've just been punished by nature itself. That's daily life for people with the TAS2R38 mutation, better known as super tasters. Their tongues aren't normal taste detectors. They're overloaded with extra sensitive receptors that turn every bite into a high-definition flavor broadcast. For them, bitterness isn't so subtle. It's like the volume knob got cranked to maximum. Black coffee can feel like drinking liquid ash, and beer might taste like chewing on a burnt tree branch. Even fresh greens like kale, spinach, and Brussels sprouts can be overwhelming, to the point of nausea. Cilantro? Forget it. For many super tasters, it doesn't taste fresh and citrusy, but closer to soap. This trait has been studied since the 1930s, when researchers noticed some people recoiled violently from a chemical called PTC, while others barely noticed it. Later, scientists found the mutation in the TAS2R38 gene was behind it. About 25% of the population are thought to be super tasters, though women are more likely to have it than men. Hyperosmia. When you're walking into a bakery, everything just smells like bread. For someone with hyperosmia, it's like standing in front of a smell amplifier. When they notice the loaf, they pick up the sugar, the yeast, the butter, even the faint whiff of coffee drifting in from down the block. Hyperosmia is a condition where the sense of smell is cranked up to extreme levels. Sometimes it comes from genetics, sometimes from hormonal changes, and sometimes it appears with certain health conditions. Whatever the case, the effect is the same. The world feels like it's screaming at your nose. Strong perfumes can trigger migraines. Trash bins might cause nausea. Even things most people barely notice, like wet paint or laundry detergent, can feel unbearable. But it's not all bad. A sharper nose can mean picking up warning signs, like spoiled food or smoke, much earlier than others. Some people with hyperosmia even report being able to recognize illnesses in others by subtle body odors.